is a franchise that's been close to me for a while. Created by id Software in 1993, it redefined the FPS genre. When it was originally released, the game just kind of went crazy right off the bat. The developer and publisher of it, id Software, was nearly raking in $100,000 daily. They sold 3.5 million copies in 6 years, and that's not including the other 2 Doom games that came out within that time. And for that time in gaming history, that's kind of crazy. id Software kept developing Doom throughout the most recent Doom game. However, the publishers have changed a lot throughout the years. I actually find this really interesting. id published Doom 1 and Doom 2, however, Midway, GT Interactive, and Bethesda published Doom 64. Activision published Doom 3, and both Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal were published by Bethesda. So I decided I'm going to talk about these games because I haven't made a real video in a couple months, and I'm a little bored. So let's start this video out strong with the classic Doom. The original Doom came out in 1993, and it was a game changer for the FPS genre at the time. If you just want to hop on and have some fun for a bit, this is a perfect game to do that with. It's got fast-paced combat, it's got a 12-gauge shotgun, it's all fun in the end. You play as an unnamed Doom Marine, the last one left on Mars, going through eradicating all life of demons. Your main goal in this one is to solve the puzzles, kill the demons, and then that's really it. Somehow there was a demonic invasion. The game doesn't really tell you that much of a story, but the later Doom games will, and we'll get to that in a minute. There are 3 episodes you have to get through, and each episode contains about 9 levels. Each level is action-packed, puzzle-filled, and just really fun to go through. My only gripe about this game is that a lot of the puzzles can be really frustrating to do, and because of that, that takes a hit on the game. Maybe it's because I'm not that smart. It is, but you know, I don't like the puzzles sometimes. It also takes a hit from the fact that you can't look up and down, but that is forgiven because they figured out a way to do that anyway. What they did is if you aim in any enemy's direction, whether up or down, it will shoot bullets right at them. The gameplay and like the controls still hold up really well to this day. I mean, it has a sprint button. It has a sprint button. Shift is sprint. That's so cool! But you can't jump in this game either. Those are the only 2 limiting factors, but you are fast, and you have guns. Doom 1993 is a game I do suggest you play. It's very fun. It's like $5 on Steam. Just go get it. A little bit of a change in set, but after Doom 1993 can only come Doom 2. Okay, this game. Imagine you put a 2 in front of Doom. That's what this game is. I mean, to be fair, it only came out a year after Doom 1993, but it's still very similar in style, in the enemies, in gameplay as 1993. There are new enemies, new environments, and the puzzles are still just as difficult. It's still me just being dumb, but just the first level, I spent 15 minutes alone trying to figure out how to get through it. On a good note though, like I said, they added some new enemies. They added the Chain Gunner, the Mancubus, the Revenant, the Arachnotron, the Archvile, and the Pain Elemental. All of these new enemies have things that they do. Chain Gunner has a machine gun, the Mancubus has 2 arm cannons, the Revenant I believe can fly and has 2 things on its back, the Arachnotron has 1 big gun, the Archvile can summon heavy demons, and the Pain Elemental can summon and throw. However, I believe that the music has taken a hit on this one. Now, let me be clear. Music for games from the 90s is already kind of not great, but this one, again, like I said, it takes a hit. It's not great. The music I used for the intro of this one, I did really like, but music from 1993 is just so much better. Now, story. Last game you were at Mars at the UAC base, now you are in Earth. What was I saying? Now you're at Earth and you have to defeat all the demons on Earth, because apparently there's another demonic invasion because hell hates Earth. While the people of Earth are trying not to get ripped apart by these funny guys, you have to rip apart these guys. Like Doom 1993, they did something weird where they have a bunch of chapters, and in those chapters there's a bunch of levels. I don't really want to go in depth on this game as much as I did the other game because they're basically the same game with different enemies. Also, this is the first game where the Super Shotgun was introduced. The Super Shotgun is a very powerful weapon, shoots 2 rounds at the same time, and can pretty much knock out any small demons in 1 shot. I would also suggest that you buy this game with it. It's, again, $5 on Steam. Next up is the one that I'd never heard of until actually buying the collection, Doom 64.
Doom 64 is a weird one for me. I had heard of all of the other games except for Doom 64 until a few months before buying the collection. Like I said, it was published by Midway GT and Bethesda, but still made by id, and it's a game that I'd argue is better in gameplay than the old Doom games. It's faster, more weighty, but the music isn't as good because there's no music. I'm not exactly happy with this decision. Since they put ambient music in there, there's nothing to rip and tear to. You just kinda hear the environment and the enemies' noises, and that's not as fun. Like I said though, it is much better in gameplay. There are new sprites for the enemies, 32 new levels, and a shift towards a more horror style. The way they did the lighting and the environments and flickery lights everywhere shows a more horror style than the other games. With the flickering lights and the ambient noise, it gives it much more of an atmosphere than the other games had. A couple of things they did in this game. They gave the Arachnotron 2 weak guns instead of one big powerful gun. They gave reskins for all the guns, and also new weapon. It's the first appearance of the Unmaker. This gun also made its reappearance in Doom Eternal, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, it's crazy that a game like Doom has evolved this much over just 4 years, but as usual, it has its flaws. When this game originally came out, it came out on the N64, which means that you're supposed to play it with an N64 controller. When I played it on mouse and keyboard, but going back and playing it on the 64 itself with the controller, it's bad. The spawns of enemies can be overwhelming sometimes, but that's just the fun quirk of Doom. Another fun quirk of Doom is that I'm not smart. The puzzles in this one are very difficult, and I spent close to an hour on this one level trying to find this door, or trying to find a switch or something, only to find a door way over in a corner, and now my monitor has a big funny hole in it. With all that though, I still find this old style, and specifically this game, to be so much fun. They're just fun to pick up and play for a bit. Now, onto the story. I don't know. I'm assuming demonic invasion, UAC base, everybody died, you're Doom guy, rip and tear. But that's really all I want to know about the story anyways, because I don't care about the story, I care about the gameplay. Gameplay is awesome in this one. This one is the one I suggest most out of all the old classic games, because it's really fun. You're faster. Everything feels more weighty. The shooting feels good. The sounds, it sounds good. Even the ambient noise, as much as I don't like it, I was impressed by it. And again, it's fun to just pick up and play for a bit. What's next on the list here? What's Doom 3? Oh Lord, I don't want to do this. Doom 3, why not? Alright, let's get one thing clear. Doom 3 is not a war crime as some people say. It's a partial war crime. Things Caleb didn't like about Doom 3. It's too slow, the mechanics aren't great, shooting doesn't feel like gun, it feels like airsoft with muzzle flash. The redesign of the demons is good. Oh, that was hard to say. It took a horror route that Doom did not need to take. Doom is a run and gun game, so basically, you run around and you make Demon Head go burr. It is not a horror game. Like I said, it's scary enough. It really messed up with this game, at least in my opinion. And to be honest, I'm really surprised that it has a higher score than Doom 64 on Metacritic. People enjoy this game, and I wish I did, but I don't. And it doesn't have the same effect on me that the other games do. It is the first fully 3D, look up and down, Doom game that there is, but it's bad. People who like horror like this game. I don't like horror. I like Doom, not this. Thank the Lord that's over. Now, it's time for the big return to form. After a train wreck of a game that Doom 3 was, it's time to move on to Doom 2016. So imagine, it's E3 2014 and you've been walking around for a while. You think, maybe I should go to the Bethesda showcase. You go to their conference and Marty McFly comes out on stage and says, hey, check this out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Doom.
I think there were a lot of mixed reviews when this game came out. People thought that they might ruin Doom. Again, a lot of people were really hopeful for this game. I wasn't because I was 11 and did not know this game existed. But as soon as I got the Doom collection, I played Doom 2016 and loved every second of it. Of course, they added AAA graphics, but they also added glory kills. They added new designs, environments, one other thing. Hold on. Right, the music. Gordon composed the Doom soundtrack and did an incredible job. Combining the heavy metal aspects of Hell with the synth of the robotic environments combines into an amazing soundtrack. Mick Gordon said in an interview that whenever he was composing for it, he viewed it from the demon's perspective rather than the player's perspective, which I think sprinkled the last bit of amazing on the soundtrack. This game needed music like this, and it works perfectly. In the actual game itself, there's a lot going on, and it makes you think really critically and be creative on the way that you play. At the beginning, of course, you only have the pistol and the shotgun, but as soon as you get all the guns, you're able to play the game the way you want. You always have to think about what you're going to do next. You know, am I going to kill a smaller demon to go get health, or am I just going to keep trying to beat the big demon? Oh, I'm out of ammo. Let me get my chainsaw and cut some guy in half. Along with some of the meh redesigns of the demons, they also redid some of the guns. And again, meh. You'll find out why I'm calling some of the designs meh when I talk about Doom Eternal. I will say some of the redesigns of the demon actually look sick. It's much more metal than all the other games. I will say though, I do like the redesign of the shotgun and the BFG. You are Doom Guy, and the UAC has made a big oopsie where they opened a portal to hell to get an unlimited source of energy. Of course this went bad, because why wouldn't it? And now Mars and Earth are flooded with demons, zombies, all that jazz. There are 14 action-packed levels, and by action-packed, I really mean it this time. If I said action-packed in Doom 64, this is way better. Around every corner is a big fight or a couple of demons, so it's just an inconvenience. It still carries a lot of the aspects of horror, mainly with the level environments and the demon redesigns. Mainly though, is a extremely fast-paced running gun. As soon as you get the combat down, it is so much fun just to go through and play. Even replaying it to write that part of the script, it was not an inconvenience, it was a lot of fun. Story! Let me get one thing clear right here. The story of Doom doesn't really make much sense at all. The story of Doom doesn't really go anywhere, and it doesn't really have a fully fledged story. But you start off in a coffin in this game with a couple demons near you. A lot like the old Doom games, you start off with a pistol. Pistol's not that powerful and doesn't really help you in the later game. It does have unlimited ammo though, and so whenever you're just going around taking out smaller demons, this is the perfect weapon to do that with. Throughout the story, you meet Samuel Hayden, this lady, who's crazy. And what's cool about this is you get to see her sort of degrade into insanity. You just see the process of her becoming more and more insane and wanting to side with hell more than siding with humanity. I'm kind of sad about one thing though. All of the cutscenes are in first person. You don't really ever get to see Doom Guy in his full suit or anything. You only really get to see his suit at the beginning when he puts it on. I'll say though, the redesign of the suit is incredible. Going from this to this, there's no contest. At the end though, as soon as you blast a hole through the big demon, that's where the game ends. Like I said, there were 14 levels, but all the levels take around 15 to 20 minutes to complete, and it's just a ton of fun. I don't know how to say it other than that. It is an extremely well-defined, well-rounded game. The soundtrack is amazing. I listen to the soundtrack just outside of the game, and I absolutely suggest that you play it. But what do you get when you take all of the games from the past? All of the lessons learned, and you slap them in a AAA graphics folder with an amazing soundtrack? You get a little game called Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is the best shooting game, no contest. They not only added an incredible 17-level campaign along with the master levels, they also added Horde mode, which we'll get to in a bit, and they added a PvP mode where one person is the Doom Slayer and the other two are demons. The other two players would be buff demons who would have the main goal of reducing the Doom Slayer to atoms. The game starts with an incredible, just beautiful opening cutscene that really puts you in the mood to blend the forces of hell. You start out in the art complex after this amazing transition from Mick Gordon's new and kind of improved at Doomsgate. I like it, but I don't like it as much as I like the other one. Let's do a little comparison real quick. This is Doom 2016's at Doomgate. And now this is Doom Eternals. As is normal for the second Doom game in a series, it's not as good as the original's music, but it's probably not for what you think. Mick Gordon composed and mixed Doom 2016, however, he only composed Doom Eternals. The mixing was left to a different company, which made it into the soundtrack it is now. I feel like it would have worked so much better if he also mixed what he had written, but you know, you can't have it all. Now don't get me wrong, there's still some bangers in the soundtrack, like The Only Thing That Fears You. I do like the new At Doomsgate. Like I said, you start out in the art complex, and unlike the classic Doom games, in this one you just start out with a shotgun. There's no pistol in this game, it's just a shotgun. The game is very quick to give you new guns and upgrades, and just throw you into a wall of combat. I'm sad to say that the bosses in this one can be very repetitive sometimes, especially in the Ancient Gods. But we'll talk about the Ancient Gods in a minute, but we're gonna stick with the campaign for now. What's cool is that some of the bosses that you fight in the beginning just kind of become enemies in the later campaign. The Doom Hunter is the first boss, and all three of them that you have to fight in the first encounter. It's really difficult, but as you go through the game and upgrade your weapons, the Doom Hunter becomes a lot easier to beat. Like the Doom Hunter, the second boss, the Marauder, also becomes a normal enemy in later games. As the second boss, the Marauder has a shield and is just very combat active. You stand too far away, he'll throw his axe. You stand too close, he'll shoot you with a shotgun. You have to wait till his eyes glow green, and then you can hit him, and then just do your best to do as much damage as possible. It is actually possible to one-cycle a Marauder, which is really cool. The Gladiator is the next boss after the Marauder. I actually really enjoyed this fight. There are two phases to this guy. First off, you stab its shield in the eye, and then you have to smash its head open with its own mace. Conmaker is up next, and it's pretty alright. It's not too hard. And then one of the most annoying final bosses in any game I've ever played, the Icon of Sin. As annoying as it is, it's still one of the coolest boss fights I've ever seen. Also, two phases to this guy. First off, you destroy all of its armor, and then you're transported to another spot where you have to destroy all of its flesh to kill it. After that, it has an incredible cutscene. You stab the Crucible in its brain, and then you just walk off. With the other boss fights, it's all about strategy, right? Or with the Icon of Sin, it's much harder to do that because there's no repetitive cycles to it or anything. There's no strategy involved. It's all about, you know, run around, make sure that your path is clear, and then just try to shoot its armor or its skin. You'll always be moving to a different spot to get a better angle. However, he'll always throw a meteor at you or hit you with a 2-story sized fist. And that's mainly just what I don't like about it, just how random it is. A couple of new things they added: reskins of the demons and the guns, except for the shotgun that was already perfect. Everything is much brighter. Everything is more cartoony in this one as well. This game is much more goofy, but it also takes itself pretty seriously. They also made much better arenas to shred demons, except for this one. You're not really able to move around as much as all the other arenas. They also added dashing, and my favorite, the grappler for the super shotgun. With the grapple, you can grapple onto any enemies, whether it be in the sky or on the ground. The grapple and the dash are just another way that they made the movement in this game so much more fun. The dash and the grapple are the two best additions to this game, aside from the Unmaker. The grappler allows combat to be much more fun and have a much better flow, along with the dash, so you can evade attacks much easier. It's just a much more fast-paced, classic feeling game than anything else. The puzzles aren't as difficult in this one as they were in Doom 2016, and they just went on a much more focus towards combat than anything else, and it works perfectly. This game has such a good feel when I play it, and I'll just hop into a Horde mode or a master level and select a hard difficulty and see how far I can get. Speaking of Horde mode, Horde mode. I think Horde mode is exactly what this game needed. Not that the game itself was doing bad, it made it and Bethesda millions, but basically having a survival mode in 3 different stages with 3 levels in all those stages, not including the bonus levels, traversing levels, or the mode where it just spawns a bunch of demons and you have a certain time limit to kill them all. All of that culminates in amazing survival mode, and it's just, it makes the game more replayable. This game is already incredible, and we haven't even talked about battle mode. So battle mode. Battle mode is a dream come true. Somebody's probably said that before. Don't get me wrong, it's cool that you're able to play from the demon's perspective, but do it better. Battle mode is all about PvP demon slaying stuff. But the first time I was a slayer, I got turned into a smoothie in record time. That just means I'm bad at battle mode, and some people are really good at it, and they enjoy it. I do have to admit though, playing as a demon is just so much, it's so cool. As a revenant, you can fly, shoot rockets, and claw the slayer. As Marauder, you have an axe and a super shotgun. Those two are my favorites to play as, but there are also a ton more demons to be played in this. You have the Pain Elemental, the Archvile. I forgot the rest of them, but that's okay, because I don't have to remember them. I forgot to mention that to get the super shotgun in the campaign, you actually play as the Revenant and have to go retrieve it. I didn't even know you could do that. I had watched videos about Doom Eternal before playing it. I didn't even know you could do that, and it was incredible. I don't find this mode as fun as campaign or horde mode, but it's still a good time, and I'll play it every now and then. That is still not the end of Doom Eternal, though. There are two other DLC packs, the Ancient Gods Part 1 and the Ancient Gods Part 2, which are much harder than the campaign levels. They are much shorter experiences, with all of the DLC packs normally containing about 4 levels, but it adds on the story, the environments are awesome, and it's just a good time. The story is expanded on this and actually helps you understand what's going on. I'm not going to spoil it because I want you to play it. The final boss of the Ancient Gods is not that hard, but it's just really frustrating. In the final fight, you fight the Dark Lord, who looks strangely like Doom Guy, because Doom Guy unmasks himself. I get that you see Doom Guy's face in the classics and Doom 3, but having him staying masked like this and then unmasking himself at the end of the game is so cool. Doom Guy also talks, which is pretty cool. I think there are 6 or 8 phases to the Dark Lord, and you can be stuck on this fight for hours if you're not careful. He fights a lot like the Marauder, so you gotta wait till his eyes glows green, and then you gotta attack him. Along with another new addition, the Sentinel Hammer, you can stun enemies for longer, including the Dark Lord. The only reason you can get stuck on this fight for hours is because he can regen health. If you attack him before he attacks you, or he hits you with a shield, or he hits you at all, he can regenerate some of his health. If you're not careful with this fight, this can take hours, but it was still a good ending to Doom Eternal. I enjoyed this game so much out of all of them, and if you don't buy any of the other games, buy Doom Eternal. It is an amazing possible end to the series, and if it is the end, I'm happy with it. I hope that they update Battle Mode to make it a little bit more balanced, and keep working on that, I guess. This was such a fun video to make. Oh my goodness. This is more of a passion project than anything else. And I appreciate all you guys who stayed to this far in the video. I appreciate all of you. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in forever. But I've been working on this. It's a big video. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe, but red button's down there if you want to. Thank you all for watching this video. And I'll see you when I talk about Ultra Kill. Stay safe out there. And most importantly, rip and tear.